Hey everybody, this is Izzy here coming to you with another review. The quote that I'm about to read you more or less signifies the type of journey you're going to be on in terms of mystery, darkness, and an emotional element that allows you to be captivated by the atmosphere, the character development, and the writing. The quote reads, "Touch darkness and darkness touches you back." That quote for me personally resembles the overall fact that there is nothing more frightening than the unknown, and the fact that when there's darkness, there's literally nothing there. And that is truly, for me, one of the biggest fears of my life is the fact that that there's nothing, that there's nothing behind the darkness. And the quote is originated from the cover of the series that I'm reviewing today, the first season rather, True Detective, starring Matthew McConaughey, Woody Harrelson, Michael Potts, Michelle Monaghan, Tori Kettles, and Alexandra Daddario. The series is a very mysterious type of noir concept that allows you to be more or less challenged to think outside the box, and how the things that you hear or don't see are far more frightening than the things that you do hear and do see. It's about these two detectives who are called back into an investigative interview due to a series of horrific crimes that they were investigating in the past that all of a sudden have resurfaced into their current lives. The difference is it's told in a non-sequential, non-linear narrative, so there's nothing that is in complete order here. The plot is more or less told by from the perspective of the two respective characters. So you have Matthew McConaughey, who plays Rust. Then you have Woody Harrelson, who plays Marty. These two veteran detectives who have become grizzled and disillusioned to a certain extent throughout the course of their law enforcement career due to the crimes and horrific murders that they have been investigated through the duration of their careers. Having said that, you have Matthew McConaughey's character, Rust, who is a lot more pessimistic, disillusioned, and has this odd perspective on the aspects of religion and the human condition. Marty is the family man, blunt, but more of the idealistic character who perceives himself as a family man, but at the same time, the job that he's doing is taking a toll on him mentally, physically, and on his family. There are so many elements of this series, of the first season in particular, that is literally the pure definition of all that is mysterious and creepy. And the character development is absolutely astounding. What I love truly about this particular season actually is the fact that you see the investigation of how it's taken such a dramatic toll on these two characters. And the true wonderful point of deception is that when you're watching it, you're not exactly sure what is unfolding before your eyes, because everything is literally left up to interpretation. Everything is playing to your imagination. It's very similar to Seven, if you will. How Seven indicated the imagination of, you're not seeing the actual crime taking place before your eyes. You're only witnessing the aftermath, and the aftermath is what really allowed you to be horrified. It's very similar. It's very much the same with True Detective. You're actually not. There are certain scenes that catch you off guard, and there's a wonderful one-shot sequence that builds in intensity no matter how many times you watch it. At the same time, you are not seeing everything unfold before your eyes. It is left up to your interpretation, the imagination, as to what exactly is happening or has happened. There's certain scenes in this series, in this season, that it involves a videotape, a very grainy, dark, depressing videotape. And I don't want to get into any spoilers here, but anyone who has watched this season knows exactly what I'm talking about. But it is one of those type of videotapes where you're not seeing exactly the material that's being presented before your eyes, but yet at the same, it's so horrifying that the reactions of the characters that's being forced to watch this tape is that much more depressing and frightening than anything else that you could possibly imagine that was being on that tape. Again, as I mentioned, it's your imagination that allows you to draw all these different types of conclusions. It really does make you wonder exactly what is on the tape. I guess the best way to describe it is, it's a true sense of morbid curiosity, but at the same time, it's not something that you want to envision yourself. The acting with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson is absolutely amazing. I mean, I never knew Matthew McConaughey could act. just because of the fact that I remember a lot of the films that he was involved in were majority of them were romantic comedies. I always knew Woody Harrelson can act, but when I read the rave reviews about Matthew McConaughey's performance and the chemistry that him and Woody Harrelson have, I had to watch it. It was just one of those type of series that, given the fact that I love any type of noir material, whether it's in the video games, literature, film, or TV series, I love anything that challenges you to think outside the box, and that's what this series does. This season, the antagonist is by far one of the creepiest antagonists in all of cinema, television, literature, video games. It's just Errol Childress is horrifying. Just the personification of all that is pure evil and creepy at the same time. He captivates you at the same time, but you feel like there are people who exist in the real world, and that's the beautiful thing about this series. I think that's the best way I could put it. This is not so much about the monster that's hiding in the dark that has 3 different eyes and all these sharp teeth and scaly skin and hairy skin. This is very much set into a real world scenario where there are people who are walking around that exist within the very fabric of our lives, and we have no idea who they are, what's lurking beneath the surface and within their minds. That is what makes True Detective such a monumental and impressive show that fully revolves around the concept of knowing exactly how to build up the atmosphere, how to build the characters, and how to captivate the audience into a sense of into a sense of false sense of security that you simply cannot allow yourself to be comfortable. And how there's a lot of theories revolving around the concept of this season, of how there's different types of theories of evolving time travel, alternate dimensions, and how time is a flat circle. Don't want to get into the specifics of that particular debate, as it would just go on for far too long, and I feel it will ultimately confuse more people than anything else. It's best to look at it as simply as a non-linear narrative where everything is coming full circle and you are on the investigation with these 2 respective characters. Other than that, the writing, the acting, the atmosphere, the horror is absolutely perfect. It's just one of these type of season that is just perfect from beginning to end. And there's a reason why. Now, I haven't watched the second or third season, as I feel that this type of magic doesn't happen very often. And the only way, for me, depending on the certain type of series, the only direction that a series like this could go in is down, because Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson brought a certain type of magic that cannot be duplicated and will never be replicated in any type of fashion. So I have to say, True Detective Season 1 is a 5 out of 5 experience, a 2 thumbs up. I do recommend it. It is not for children for obvious reasons. There's a lot of horrific violence. There's a lot of horrific aftermath of the violence, profanity, sexual situations. And also, I want to point out how it's very much a mirror reflection of the real world, how there are a lot of people in prominent positions who are involved in some treacherous material that you're talking about your religious sectors, you're talking about your politicians. I mean, again, not trying to get into any conspiracy theories, but it's just something that really does make you think, and that's another reason why I love this season in particular. It forces you to think about things that your mind definitely wouldn't be interested in at that point. So again, True Detective, 5 out of 5, 2 thumbs up. I highly recommend it. If you have watched the season, let me know what you thought about it. Provide a like, provide a comment. If you haven't watched it, I do recommend it to the fullest extent. And that is my review of True Detective. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys continue to remain safe. And you will be seeing me again. Peace out.